Hello guys and welcome to another top 10 MK mobile video. Today we are ranking the best gold characters in the game. However, please keep in mind guys, this ranking is totally biased and totally prejudiced, so if you disagree with me somewhere, that's perfectly fine. However, I try to be as objective as possible while ranking the characters. It is not about only faction wars guys, I want to check how good a character is in faction wars, against bosses in the towers for example, against difficult matches in the towers. In addition, I want to know how adaptable the character is in terms of receiving support. For example, dual class character is better than a character that has only one class, and this class is Elder God. If you're Elder God, then you cannot be easily supported because there aren't many Elder Gods in the game. In addition, I want to test how adaptable the character is when it comes to supporting the other cards in the game. For example, if we have a card that can support two other cards, and we have another character that can support 20 or 30 characters, definitely I'll go for the second one. And of course I need to check how destructive the character is in general, overall how much damage he deals, how safe he is, and of course, does he have good stats. So a lot of work to do. Let's start with number 10. Coming in at number 10 guys is Heavy Weapons Jax. Guys, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I'm trying to be as objective as possible, and probably this is the reason why Jax ranks at number 10 and not higher. Without any doubt guys, Jax is the best character if you want to gain as many points as possible in faction wars. He can literally finish every single battle in less than 15 seconds. In fact, my all-time best with him in a faction wars battle is 9 seconds. That is how fast he is. And the reason, once again, why he is not ranked any further is because, apart from faction wars, he is not really great against bosses and against difficult matches in the towers. There is no reason to pick him over any other character. On top of that, he doesn't have the best stats in the game, and in general, if you want to achieve the best results with him in faction wars, you need to have certain items and you need to be able to support him with certain characters. This is the reason why he ranks at number 10. Ranking at number 9 guys is Triborg Smoke. Now what can I say about this character? He is extremely useful in faction wars, extremely useful in boss fights, especially if you are facing more than one boss in one fight. There he really shines because of his power gen special one, which means that with the correct talents he can snare the bosses and you can take them one by one. On top of that, his passive can literally work in any team that has any kind of power drain. Really, Triborg Smoke is not really the best fighter in the game, but he has extremely good debuffs on both of his special attacks, and his passive is extremely useful. He can literally fit in many teams. So Smoke deserves his place at number 9. Coming in at number 8 is the best deal in the store guys. For 250 souls you get Covert Ops Cassie Cage, who is, in my opinion, one of the best Spec Ops cards in the game. Not only gold cards, but one of the best cards in the game. She's that versatile, she can fit in any Spec Ops team, and her passive is quite unique. Basically, she gives chance for unblockable attacks, not only basic attacks, but special attacks also. So if you have a Spec Ops character with many multiple hits on his abilities, then Cassie will guarantee that eventually the block of the enemies will break. On top of that, she is quite fast, she has pretty good stats, and again, she can be useful not only in faction wars, but against bosses in the towers. She is really that good. Number 7 guys is taken by another versatile character, Cosplay Jackie. She's that fun to play. You have to pick her variation depending on the team you are facing, and she can literally shine against almost any team compositions in the game. And on top of that, her stats are pretty awesome, and she has so many buffs and debuffs on her special abilities. I cannot even list them all. In addition, Because of her versatile nature, she can be useful again not only in faction wars but in the towers also, and she can be quite good against bosses, not only because she deals a lot of damage but because depending on her variation she can apply pretty nasty debuffs on them. For example, pick Sub-Zero and then make sure that the enemy is non-stop frostbitten. I mean, what more could you possibly ask out of a character? Number 6, guys, belongs to your favorite Hanzo Hisashi Scorpion. I was thinking for so long whether he belongs in top 10 because literally my subjective feeling is that I am really not a fan of him, but I have to admit, I have to be as objective as possible. I have to admit that he is one of the best fighters in the game, and even though that his passive is not really great, it works pretty decent on him. I mean, all you have to do is spam basic attacks and eventually unleash special 1 or 2, both will work. And that's it, Hanzo Hisashi is at number 6. Probably only because of the fact that his basic attacks are extremely good, and because of them he's able to land so many special abilities and stack so many bleed debuffs on the enemies. And you know, he's used that much by so many players for a reason. So number 6 goes for Hanzo Hisashi. You won't believe me, guys, but number 5 is taken by MK11 Kabal. Now, a lot of you should be asking, man, why do you place him that low? I mean, he should be top 3, right? Originally I thought the same, guys. However, Kabal has one or actually two main drawbacks, and the first drawback is that he's extremely good in MK11 team, but outside of MK11 team he's still good but not great. And the second drawback is his passive. The thing is, you cannot control it, and in faction wars you can literally get killed if the enemy has Centaurian defense. For example, if you are fighting Jade and one of your fighters has an X-ray, you can use it but you can choose not to. In MK11 Kabal's case, guys, you cannot choose. He just tags in and he attempts to execute the enemy using his fatal blow, and sometimes this can backfire really bad on you. And of course, I have to admit that every time when I play with him, his main role is support. As a fighter, he is not really that great. I mean, he can work, but he needs a block breaking gear, and if you give him block breaking gear, you kind of decrease of the total devastating potential of the character, because all he has to do is tag in, kill an enemy using his unblockable special 2 and tag out. You have to keep him tagged out if he is an MK11 team, of course. So Kabal is great, but he has those annoying flaws, and that's why he ranks at number 5. That's right, there won't be any MK11 characters in my top 3 best gold cards in the game. And that's unfortunate. I was thinking for so long where to put MK11 Jade, guys. Should she be second or third or fourth? And in the end, I decided that she has to be fourth. And let me explain to you why. Before anything else, Jade is an amazing character. I regard her as better than most diamonds in the game. She's really amazing. In an MK11 team, in faction wars, she's a beast. She can be extremely useful outside of an MK11 team. Only problem though is that she is Netherrealm and she cannot be easily supported. That's the only problem of MK11 Jade being outside of an MK11 team. And of course, she can be very useful against bosses. She can be very useful against difficult matches in the towers. She can be useful everywhere. However, the only reason why she couldn't make it into number 3 is because I believe that the characters that will follow are slightly better than her. And that's it. MK11 Jade will take number 4. And coming in at number 3, guys, is Slasher Jason. What can I say about Slasher Jason? Let's start with the negatives. He is not the best against bosses, except for the fact if the boss is actually spamming X-rays, then he's one of the best. But in the most cases, the bosses will be immune to bleed, so the debuffs on all Jason abilities will be kind of useless. Apart from that, he is an amazing character, probably one of the safest tanks in the game. He has literally 2 revives. He can be good against anybody. He can be good against Jade. All we have to do is die, then get 1 bar of power and finish her. He is so safe, and that's the keyword that describes him best: safe. If you have him in your team, it is almost impossible to lose. He can do anything, and on top of that, guys, he has pretty nice basic attacks, and even though his stats are not great, he has 2 unblockable special attacks, so nobody can ever block your special abilities. And if he has his mask, and if you have some talents that boost the resistance to the buffs, he becomes an unstoppable force. Slasher Jason ranks 3rd in our ranking. And the runner-up of the video, guys, is Combat Cup Sonya. If I have to be honest, number 2 and number 1 switched their places multiple times in my head because I was unable to decide who has to be at number 2 and who has to be at number 1. And the reason why I decided to put Sonya on number 2 is because her passive kind of doesn't work on the trio bosses. It just doesn't work. She cannot give a red card to a boss and fear him away, and that's unfortunate, even though she can still do that in very difficult matches in the towers. So with that said, Combat Cup Sonya is one of the greatest, the absolute greatest gold cards in the game. Her passive is a game changer. He can literally turn the tides of a match. She's incredible. The only problem I have with her is that once you use her passive, she's still a relatively good fighter with good stats and she can fit in any team, but after you use her passive, she's not that effective. I mean, she doesn't have the best buffs or debuffs on her special attacks, and both of her special abilities can be blocked. This is the reason why I'm placing her at number 2. And the absolute winner of our top 10 ranking, guys, is Combat Cup Johnny Cage. Let's think about it. Johnny Cage is a Spec Ops character, but he can be good in any Spec Ops team. He's one of the best starters in the game. He can be extremely useful in faction wars, against bosses, against 3 bosses, against difficult matches in the towers. He can be useful everywhere, guys. All he needs is the weak point attacks talent. Once he has that, he's literally unstoppable. So Johnny Cage, my verdict is the best gold character in MK Mobile. Now you can disagree with me, but also we have to keep in mind that Johnny Cage, objectively speaking, has probably the greatest stats in the game, on top of the fact that he has great passive and great special attacks. Okay guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What is your top 10? Please let me know in the comments. As usual guys, if you want to see more top 10 rankings, you can find the link to the playlist on the top right corner of the screen. See you next time guys. Take care and stay safe.
Perfect.